how Azadari, initiated by Lady Zainab, managed to continue over the centuries under strict surveillance and massive oppression, and has now spread so widely that it has become one of the widest and largest practicing phenomena. Today, Azadari has spread across the Muslim world and into different cultures. Within cultures, there are subcultures, and within those subcultures, there are diverse groups. The word Azadari is not monolithic. It is culturally, philosophically, and conceptually heterogeneous. Furthermore, Azadari itself leaves a space for different cultures to express and lament for Imam Hussein in their own way, as there is no clear or categorical instruction on how to perform Azadari.
Reality is Allah is infinite and Allah has created the universe with a lot of diversity, I believe, to reflect the infinite nature of Allah. The human beings are not different. Allah has created all of us different, and Allah has created different cultures differently, and it is natural that some of this is going to come out in our spiritual or artistic or other forms of expression. So when it comes to things that are not mandated by religious law in terms of you have to do it this way or you have to do it that way, I think it's a good thing that there is variety.
Since Azadari doesn't instruct a specific way of mourning, it naturally becomes adaptable. One such example of its adaptability is the rise of Azadari in the West. The rise of Azadari in the non-Muslim world is particularly interesting, as language has been an essential element in shaping and framing Azadari. For example, as we have seen in Marsias, it is constructed in such a way as to encourage and make people cry. Passionate crying is in line with the Muslim cultural setting. On the other hand, Western languages such as English, French and German are not as structured as Urdu, Farsi and Arabic. But interestingly, over the last few decades, Azadari has significantly spread in different non-Eastern languages, especially English. This is fascinating to explore. How is it possible to adopt something like Azadari, which is almost alien to Western language and culture? Some scholars believe that lamentation in general has been a part of Western culture.
Well, Azadari in general has been actually prevalent in Western culture for Jesus Christ. We know that in different European countries, they had different ways of lamenting for Jesus Christ. And some of them do certain things like, for example, cutting themselves. Some cultures of the Southern Europe, they cut themselves. In Latin America, they do that, and they make lots of blood coming out on the day when Jesus was crucified. So the concept of Azadari is not alien to Western culture and to European culture. Yes, Azadari for Imam Hussein was not here because she as well not here.
The West has its own unique way of lamenting, and it is recommended to view Western Azadari in its own context.
In the Western, especially in the English-speaking world, there is a poetry called dirge, which is especially for expressing the sorrows. So if an English convert starts doing Aza of Imam Hussein والسلام, in that format, who are we to criticize them? As long as they are maintaining the balance of Sharia, it's okay. Or if an Afro-Caribbean expresses the Aza of Imam Hussein والسلام, and narrates the tragedy of Karbala in rap, who are we to criticize them? They can, because rap is their way of expression of sad and happy events.
Similarly, it won't be effective to replicate cultural practices of the Muslim world in the West. Practices in the Muslim world have different meanings, contexts and implications, which may not be applicable to a Western audience.
One of the attractive aspects of Islam right from the beginning was that it accommodated for different cultures. Islam developed very rapidly to Persia, to Egypt, to Syria, to North Africa, but it did not ban those or change those cultures. It just accommodated those cultures inside the boundaries of Islam. So people in Persia prayed, fasted, but celebrated the way they used to celebrate. They lamented the way they used to lament, and there was no objection to that.
In the post-10th century, Azadari went beyond lamentation. Artistic expressions, symbols, and iconography became a part of it. This distinct feature of Azadari attracted different civilizations and cultures. As a result, Azadari assimilated into local cultural practices of every region.